Thanks for stopping by, YouTubers. Today, I'm just going to give you my piece on the recent Alaska talks, the China clash with the US. Can't believe what I just witnessed. The US comes straight out, attacking the Chinese, puffing and pounding their chest like children in a bloody playground. I can't believe it. This is all a propaganda exercise just to appease some Biden voters. This is insane. Just before the Chinese boarding their flights, the US start laying new sanctions on the basis of factless stories and garbage, the supposedly horrible human rights things going on in Xinjiang. It's already been discredited by many people in the world in terms of other country leaders, even the Uyghur people themselves. There is nothing horrible going on in Xinjiang. But they still paint this, puff it up, keep pushing the barrow, pushing the garbage uphill. This is all trying to impress the Biden voters. I'm sorry. It's just propaganda and lies. The US team dispensed with all the pleasantries. No welcoming people, no go around the table and invite people to introduce themselves and present who's who in the room. No, the US just sit down. As soon as everyone's sitting there, they just straight away launch into one by one attack with all these stories and make sure the Western media is sitting front and center to see all the puff and ceremony. This is full of really polluted air. I can't believe he's getting... This is so clear. This is just a propaganda exercise that the US was hoping would go their way. Because as soon as the Chinese came back with unexpected response, for the first time in public, the Chinese came back and were very direct, a little aggressive, not as aggressive as the US, but very direct with counterclaims and counter responses and facts to discredit so many of the US's suggested issues on the table. And as soon as the US saw this was going on, what did they do? They hurriedly tried to silence the Western media, push the Western media out the room, while the Chinese tried to present their argument. Clearly, you don't want the US public to see what's really going on. They just wanted to make a story. They wanted to bring the Chinese in the room and look tough and bash them, follow the Trump line. And this is all because I think Biden government still haven't got a strategy on China. They don't know what to do. They haven't got any answers. They've played the game in the US to get into government and they don't know what's going on. China's just made it clear. They won't accept any interference in internal affairs. They want the US to stay worrying about their own country and stop worrying about what's going on in China. It's China's business. It's got nothing to do with the US. China's very clear, always clear. It won't change its ambitions. It won't change its direction. It won't change its policy. And it won't change to a democracy. It won't work in China. It doesn't work. What's working is here. And it's what's keeping the whole world economy moving. The only thing that's kept the economy growing globally in the last 40 years has been China. The China growth has pulled everyone out of recessions over and over again. But people forget this. I thought it was rather funny. The translator they used in the US had to be corrected multiple times by the Chinese translator because of very incorrectly translating the message and softening it way too much in terms of its intention and its meaning, taking the Chinese words and trying to put them back to the US delegates. When are people going to realize that all this false information about China, this China disinformation, this anti-China rhetoric that's been going on for the last 4 or 5 years, increasing under Trump and still going on under Biden, is all just propaganda to try to take focus off the US and its own problems. The US cannot blame China for its situation. It cannot blame China for its internal race problems. It cannot blame China for its internal economy problems. It was built by the US, grown by the US, harbored by the US, and neglected by the US. I hope some of you out there start to think a bit more openly about some of this stuff and stop just blindly following the propaganda, yes, propaganda in the Western media, all carefully manipulated and painted by the US government, and pushing this global anti-China garbage and fear of God, that China is going to take over the world and going to destroy the world. If all of you don't understand this by now, that China is helping all of you, is China growth is benefiting you all in terms of what you can buy, how you live, how your prosperity is. If you don't start to understand that now and stop believing the garbage pushed out by the US government, you'll be the ones that are sitting there left with little and wondering why you missed the China train. Because China ain't changing for nobody. If you get on the China bus, you'll benefit. You'll benefit economically, business will benefit. When you look at the stories pushed out by the US government, none of this is being followed by companies from the US. This last 12 months saw record investment, foreign investment in China, record foreign investment. Also by US companies that ain't leaving China, they're coming here, they're making a lot of money out of China. If you enjoy this type of video, give me a comment below, hit the like button. Like anybody, I've got an opinion. Don't often share it. Often I'll keep it to myself because I think, why bother? But if some of us don't start talking about this stuff more, who's going to make things change? All right, till next time, I'll try to find a more light-hearted video for you guys on a bit of local stuff, how things work here in China. What's life in China really like? It's not like the US suggests. All right, be good.